Holy, that was weird. Hey there, hello people. Today I'm gonna rank the albums from October Tide, from my least favorite to my most favorite. I'm recording this directly after my Doja Cat review. That's right. So let's just get straight into this video. Let's go into number 6, my least favorite album from this band. Alright, so for number 6 we have Winged Waltz, or Winged Waltz. I think it's Winged Waltz actually. So, the thing with this album in the next place is the problem is that they sound exactly the same. I literally cannot tell the difference between one song and another. It's the same thing for the next place. I just feel like it's the same thing over and over. The sound, I don't really like how the guitar sounds, how the drumming sounds, the bass, the vocals overall. It's not as good as the top tier albums. And just whenever I'm listening to this album, I don't think I listened to this album even 5 times, but whenever I listen to this album, I just feel like, yeah, I just wanna get over this. I'm on the third song, Reckless Abandon, and I am like, yeah, I'm gonna stop listening to this. I don't really feel like listening to the rest of this thing. But yeah, it has 8 songs: Swarm, Sleepless Sun, Reckless Abandon, Question, Ignite, Nursed by the Cold, Lost in Rapture, Perilous, and Coffins of November. That's all the songs. So I really don't like this album. It's actually, I think it's so far from all the albums I've reviewed since Blackpink. That's where I'm really considering the reviews now. All the albums I reviewed since Blackpink, this has been the worst one. This is bottom tier, my least favorite album from all the albums I've reviewed so far. This is my least favorite. So let's get into the next place, which my critique will be basically the same. Let's go. But anyway, here's the artwork. Did I talk about the artwork from? Did I mention the artwork from the first album? Well, it wasn't bad, but well, this is the next album, In Splendor Below. I think the thing that saves this album is the artwork. Really like this artwork. I think this artwork is amazing. The band logo, I really don't like these black metal band logos. Oh, this band is a Death Doom band. I really don't like this Death Doom logo, this black metal band logos. I just don't see it doesn't make sense. Why would want a logo that people can't read? So you can still read October Tide a little bit, but it's very confusing. I just like the overall artwork. This ghost, this forest. I think that's the saving grace from this album, because just as with the last album, which I forgot the title already, I can't tell the difference between the songs. I the Polluter, We Died in October, Augenblick, Avnod, I think that's how you pronounce that. Star, Starve Me, Our Famine, Guide My Posts, Seconds, and Envy the Moon. I actually think I the Polluter, Augenblick, Avnad, I think that's how you pronounce that. And Star, Starve Me, or Famine as well. I think they're actually listenable songs. When I get to the next album, I'm gonna point out something. not on this one. But anyway, the sound, I just don't like how the guitar sound. I just don't like how the vocals sound. Not that it sounds bad, because well, number 2 sounds exactly like this, but I'll explain why I prefer that album, why I like that album, and this one. I just think it's more of the same. Why would I listen to this album if I have number 2, which we'll talk about? So that's just it. If you like Death Doom, go ahead, listen to this, but I just think there's better albums than this. So let's get to the number 4 this list. 4th place. Number 4 is a tin shell. Finally got into the good albums territory. This artwork, I really like this artwork. It's a tree stump with a little, how do you say, twig? A little twig growing. There is leaves inside and the air looks clean. And on the outside is everything black and with this dead appearance and as if the air is extremely toxic and such. I really love this artwork. Let's look at it. Now this is their comeback album. The 90s they released 2 albums. Then, well, I'm gonna talk about the members later, but the 90s they released 2 albums. Only one of the members from the first album, 2, I believe his name is Frederick Norman. I'm not sure, I didn't look up, but I think it's Frederick Norman. That one guy, I believe his name has Norman in it, something like that. I'm gonna call him Norman. Let's just call him Norman. So Norman, he released the second album with other people. The other guy left. I'm gonna talk about it later. And 10 years later, in 2010, released this album, brought back the band and released this album. And honestly, from the newer albums, this is the one that sounds the most unique. A lot of instrumental sections and weird parts with sound effects and such, and I just think that's what sets this album apart from the other 3 albums that came after it. And all the songs, The Custodian of Science, Deplorable Request, The Nighttime Project, Blackness Devours, The Dividing Line, Fragile, and Scorned, all of them are good songs. They still have those heavy death doom parts, just as the other 2 albums are revealed, but they also have instrumental, weird little interludes inside the songs, and I just love them. Deplorable Requests has one I believe in the very middle, and it's my favorite part from this album. It just is. I'll probably select it as the transition song when you see the artwork and the music plays, when I'm starting. But the Nighttime Project, it's fully an instrumental if I remember it correctly. It's been a few days since I listened to this album, but the Nighttime Project, I believe, is a fully instrumental, no distortions, no vocals, amazing song. This is what's missing from their other 2 albums I just revealed. Creativity, something to differ this from the rest. But well, overall, I just really love this album. Not as good as the next 3, but it's a good album. I would recommend this one. We're finally into the good album territory. Let's get to number 3. Right, number 3 is Grey Dawn. So this album sounds like a mixture of death doom with black metal. It has that feeling to it. At least I see it that way. This artwork, I really like this artwork. Amazing. And this is the second album that was released in the 90s before the band dissolved. solved, solved, solved. That's how I say that word. Solved, dissolved. Well, it was released in '99, great year, and man, I love this album so much. So much fun. I like all the songs. Grey Dawn, October Insight, Sweetness Dies, Sweetness Dies. Why am I talking in that funny accent? Sweetness Dies. I think this is my favorite song from this album. They're all really good, but this is my favorite one. Sweetness Dies. Heart of the Dead, Floating, and the last song, Dear Son, are two amazing songs. The last song, Dear Son, is a sort of acoustic, really relaxing song, and I really like that. I really like that this album ends in that note. We also have Lost in the Dark and then Gone, Into Deep Sleep. That's all the 8 songs, and the album closes with Dear Son. I think Sweetness Dies and Dear Son are my 2 favorite songs from this album. And this, as I said, this for me really has that mixed sound of black metal and death doom, and I really like that mixture. I need to listen to more black metal, so I'll be more familiar with that band. I do intend on listening to Burzum. I haven't started, but I do intend. I think that will be not the first black metal band I've listened to, but I will listen to that actually solo musician. So yeah, number 3, amazing album. We're into the perfect territory. Let's go to number 2. Number 2 is the first album I've listened from this band. That's right, Tunnel of No Light. This artwork, I love it. I love this artwork so much. I'm recording, right? Say I'm recording. This artwork here, man, reminds me of the artwork from the album Daughter, from the album Don't Get What You Want from Daughters. Really similar artwork. This white face in the darkness, really spooky. This album has 8 songs. Of Wounds to Come, Our Constellation, Emptiness Fulfilled, Caught in Silence, The Day I Dissolved, Washing the Drowners, Hopeless Pursuit, and Adoring Ashes. Now, this one was released before number 6 and number 5 on this list, and I'm gonna tell you the reason why this one is different from the others. This album here has unique parts in it. Adoring Ashes, Watching the Drowners, Caught in Silence. Those songs have really different parts where when you get to them you can really tell, oh yeah, that's that song I really like. And that's a feeling I just didn't have with any of those 2 albums I revealed first. And because this was the first album I've listened from Oktobertide. That's right, this is my introduction to the band. Overall, I just think all the songs are really good. Long songs, 8 minutes, 7 minutes, I really like that. And I would say my favorite songs would be Caught in Silence, Watching the Drowners, Adoring Ashes, and Constellation of Wounds to Come. Yeah, that's right. This album is filled with good songs. I would recommend you to listen to this, number 1. And let's go to number 1. You know what number 1 is? Is the only album remaining. Let's go. Rain Without End. Now, I'm gonna say 2 things before reviewing this album. First, I believe it was in 2020. I think in 2020, October Tide released a updated version of the song 12 Days of Rain, the first song from this album. And that song is exactly the reason why I think their last albums are so bad and so weak. Now, this song has amazing vocals, amazing guitars. The guitars, they at one time, let's describe it this way. At one time they sound like that, and another time in the song sounds like that. It's distinct sounds the guitar has, or the guitars have, and you can really tell when it's changing. Oh, it's this, they're playing this sound now, they're playing that sound now. When you listen to the updated version, it's literally just distortion. That's just it. The guitars are just distortion. And that's, I think, explains, if you understood what I'm trying to explain here, that's the reason why I think their most recent albums all sound the same to me. Because they really are the same. 12 Days of Rain, in that updated sound, is not the 12 Days of Rain I like to listen to. So the first album, I just think Debut is the better, best album they released. Let's talk about the two members from it. So I believe one of the guys was Frederick. I might be wrong about his name, but I think that's his name. And the other guy is Jonas Ranksy from Catatonia, a vocalist from my favorite band. My eyes are acting wise now. Of alert. So that's it. My favorite, the vocalist from my favorite band is in this album. He was one of the founders from this band. I'm showing here the original artwork because I think the 2008 reissue artwork is not as good as the original for that one. So let's talk about the songs. It's a really short album, just 30 minutes. 12 Days of Rain, Ephemeral, All Painted Code, Sightless, Losing Tomorrow, Blue Gallery, and Infinite Submission. I think my favorite songs, I'm sure my favorite songs are 12 Days of Rain, Ephemeral, and Losing Tomorrow. Those are my favorite songs. All of the songs are good, but I prefer those. So yeah, this album has the most unique sound from all the albums. Their second album, Grey Dawn, had that black metal sound to it. This first one has a very similar sound to For Funerals to Come, that EP that was released between the first and the second albums from Catatonia. It's like an expansion of that. So I really love how this album sounds, because I really love how that EP sounds. For me, that's one of their albums. I just consider that one of Catatonia's albums because of how good it is. This album is like an expansion of that EP, a different take, let's say. So yeah, this is an amazing album. This is my favorite album from October Tide, and now I can get to the middle because the review is over. Hope you enjoyed this video. Next up, I have here on my list, the next two bands I'm listening to right now are Two and Swallow the Sun. So I'm gonna review them next. Oh, I hope you enjoyed this video. Till the next one, see you then.